What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live. You know what? We've got a few things to talk about. Since everything went down with Aiden Hutchinson's contract extension yesterday, there's been a whole lot of stuff hitting the national media, beat reporters. You're getting anybody from Tom Pelissero, ESPN, Fox Sports. You get it. Jeremy Fowler. Everybody's reporting different information, but all of it does have some sort of conclusion. Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions raced the table to get Aiden Hutchinson signed yesterday to set up something else. We're not going to wait until the main top of the day to dive into it. We're going to get into it right off the bat here. So, some of this stuff's going to have to be loaded up. Let's start with the first bit of evidence that I'm going to present to you guys. This comes from Dave Burkett, who, of course, you guys all know. Dave Burkett covered the Lions since, he's with Detroit Free Press, before that, the Oakland Press. With Aiden Hutchinson's contract done, the Lions have committed nearly $1 billion to contract details, extensions, etc. So that got a lot of people talking about stuff. That got people speculating. And according to NFL insiders, yes, the Lions are trying to make some trades. As you've seen from the thumbnail for this one, I'll get into the Myles Garrett thing in a second. You have to come to your own devices where you think there's any kind of validity to that. So we'll get into that momentarily. Also, the Detroit Times is reporting that the Lions have the fourth highest remaining NFL cap space. We'll just say round up slightly and say $24 million in cap space. Yes, we've heard Brad Holmes talk about it for some time. He wants to roll some of that on over to next year. But we get it. Brad Holmes does make moves. I know someone will say, man, he just never makes a big move. While that can be true, it can also be false because Brad Holmes in the last few years has made some trades. And no, that's not the graphic I wanted to pull up. Hold on, let me try to get the next graphic loaded up here. Let's see if it's this one. I should have labeled them differently. All right, here we go. So this got multiple people talking yesterday, and I do want to, for this particular one, I want to give a shout out to Hutch Jr. for getting this over to me. I probably should have tried to make it bigger. Apologies for that. But anyways, Darian Key, Cam Jordan, Draymond Jones, Carl Granderson. I would really like Granderson if we could get him and Jordan from the Saints. And then Phillips, we've already talked about Adrian Taylor and Cam Taylor-Britt, some cornerbacks for the Detroit Lions. I've also heard from people that I talk to still in Detroit-based media. Lions are more focused on getting offensive line help. Doesn't mean the rest of it can't be accurate or true, but that is at least what I've heard. These guys have access to national people that I simply don't have access to, so maybe there is some legitimacy to that. What we do know is that Brad Holmes is trying to make some moves, and so far, when you're Scooby-Dooing, trying to put together the jigsaw puzzle that is the NFL front office, it does seem like they're legitimately trying to make more than just some bottom feeder moves that maybe not where they're trying to give up 3 or 4 first-round picks for a guy, but it does look like they're making some moves. Many of you are going to throw stones at me and say, well, why do you even have Myles Garrett in the thumbnail? Well, this is why. Yesterday's show with Pat McAfee talking about the Lions, signing Aiden Hutchinson, what it means, how this franchise has turned around. It's the brand new Lions, not the same old Lions, all that stuff. He brought up Myles Garrett to Detroit. And when he got breaking it down, why it would happen, and no, I don't have any kind of information other than Pat McAfee talking about it, why it should happen, it at least made me sit there and think, you know what, Myles Garrett's contract really isn't that bad in the next 3 years. Pat McAfee goes through it. What I can tell you is his base salary this year is just $1.255 million. Now, how much of that is affected if you trade him and add in the signing bonuses, the restructure fees, etc.? How much would the trading team, the Cleveland Browns, eat on that? Next year, it's only $8 million, and the year after that, it's only $16 million. I get $16 million as a bit, but 3 years from now, that's not that much. Now you start looking around some of the other teams and players in the league, and they're not all pass rushing defensive ends, but it does mean the Lions have the ability, if they wanted to go for a bigger name guy. I don't think that's going to happen. And I know some of you will throw stones at me and say, well, you had this guy in the thumbnail. Well, you know what? Clearly you didn't listen to the show. And I do find that happening more and more where people leave comments. And I'm like, man, we addressed that topic and I didn't even mention that. But anyways, you guys get it. Part of running the show. So what do you guys think? You know, everybody across the nation seemed to have the same thought process yesterday. Why would you sign Aiden Hutchinson during the middle of the season instead of at the end of the season or prior to the season? Was there some sort of reasoning from the Detroit Lions, from their front offices, from Brad Holmes to race to the table and get it done? We all get it. It does kind of line up with next Tuesday's trade deadline. If you're going to try to firm up your salary cap, know exactly what you have to work with on a year-to-year basis for, say, the next couple of seasons, then it makes a whole lot of sense why the Lions would have made the move yesterday to get Aiden Hutchinson's deal done. So all I can do is be the lawyer presenting the information to you guys, the Do Crew, the judge and jury. But it does feel like the more I've listened to some of you guys, Hutch Jr. brought this up yesterday on the breaking news episode with the news about Aiden Hutchinson being signed to the contract extension, and then just talking to some other people in Detroit media, it does seem like maybe for the first time in this regime's 5-year window of running the Detroit Lions that they are trying to make some bigger move. Does that mean Super Bowl or bust? Man, I don't know. When you try, and we talked about this on yesterday's show, I think the Lions really don't seem at this point to have any major holes. They may be the NFL's most complete team. That being said, I think most of us also agree there are questions. One of the biggest questions I have, doesn't have to be your biggest question, is Taylor Decker. Is that shoulder good or not? Who's backing him up? If I'm the Lions, I'm probably trying to address the offensive line more going forward. Why is that? I don't think the Lions pass rush needs a major upgrade. You may have a different opinion. That's okay. I would not be upset if we signed some major pass rushing defensive specialists or lockdown cornerback or whatever else. But I do think at the end of the day, in the last month, I'm trying to be as fair and analytical as possible about the Detroit Lions. I think their offense has changed on the necessity with the blocking assignments on obvious passing downs. Taylor Decker, he's given up, I want to say it's 4 sacks on the season. That leads the team in sacks allowed from any offensive line player. And that's a heck of a statement when you're talking about your left tackle, also somebody who's missed a few games. The interior of the Lions' offensive line, we get it. They're younger, they're growing, they're developing, etc. I think they're going to continue to do that over the course of the year. And by the time we make the playoffs, you know what? I know Dan Campbell has come out and said, you're no longer rookies. You're halfway through your season or whatever. I get that, but they're still going to not have the experience some of the other guys they're going against. So, at least in my opinion, the number one spot on the Lions to improve would be the left tackle, or at least the depth there. I still believe in Taylor Decker, but I still have legitimate questions about him. That also being said, they don't ask me. They don't ask you. They don't ask anybody else. Could it be the Lions are trying to make a move for one of the guys on the list? And apologies that it's not the biggest thumbnail ever I put up there. Could it be that Pat McAfee is right? Lions are going to try to make a move to acquire some bigger stud defensive player. And again, just referencing Myles Garrett, do I think he wants out of Cleveland now? Yeah, I do. Talking to some people over the Cleveland Plain Dealer, they would say behind closed doors, he's already complaining about, re-signing that contract. Could it be that it's because he's no longer the highest paid guy? Could it be that he just put up a generational performance out there, taking down the quarterback 5 times, and they weren't even competitive in that game? Despite all of his efforts, they're not even close, man. And I don't think they're going to be close during the rest of his career. It's no disrespect to the Cleveland Browns. If you don't have a quarterback, you've got no shot in the NFL. You barely have a shot in the NCAA at any level. But if you don't have a quarterback that can whip the ball around and take care of it, then yeah, you're not winning the NFL. Myles Garrett, I think he made his own bed. You took that new contract. I understand why you did it, but let's also be fair. You did it for the paycheck. You didn't do it for that team because there was no quarterback on that sideline. They were like, that guy's taking me to the Super Bowl. Could it be that some other team also wants to part ways? We've already talked about the usual suspects this week. The Saints are obviously going to unload some players. They are unloading some players. You've got, you got some other teams trying to do the same, Miami Dolphins. And if they get beat down, which I expect tonight, they're probably even trying to push that up forward. Could you go for some of their guys? Sure. Would some of those guys want a fresh new start in Detroit? Yes. The only question I have is how much does the Detroit Lions want to take some of that $24 million in remaining cap space and push it to next year? You've got most of your bigger names signed. Yes, you are going to have some other people come up, but I do think Brad Holmes, from all the evidence, all the people you talk to behind closed doors, nationally, locally, whatever, they all say the same things. Brad Holmes is working the phones. He is talking about 10 different teams about potential trades, and that's not actual information. I don't know if it's 10 teams. It's just me talking that he's talking to multiple teams. How about that? I do think the Lions are going to try to make a move. I do think that at this point, with most of your big guns for the immediate year or two signed up, and after next year, you're going to have to re-sign some other guys. You guys get that. I get that. But your big cost guys that you probably wanted done are now done for that 1 or 2 year window. If you're going to make a move to bring in somebody who does cost a little bit more, maybe not 29 first-round draft picks, but I think this is the time to strike. Can you get those guys in here and make that move? Well, you've seen the Lions' schedule this week. I think most of us feel pretty good about the Lions' chances at winning. But after this week, you Washington Commanders, it's going to be a revenge game for the Lions. Can you get somebody in here that's going to make a big impact for that game? Washington's probably at that point fighting for their lives. Philadelphia, hey, the greatest day in the calendar every year, November 16th. Yes, that is my birthday. I do think that's going to be a coin flip game because it's in Philly. The Lions are built to stop them. Philadelphia is built to give us some problems. New York Football Giants, I don't know what to think about them. I think they've got some real potential. I don't think they have enough consistency. I think we win that game. And then there's the mother of all Thanksgiving Day games. Make no mistake about it. I don't know what you're doing for Thanksgiving, but you probably want to move dinner time around so you can watch the game no matter what you do. Because in my opinion, in my lifetime, I'm going to be 53 on November 16th. Let me tell you, that's going to be the biggest Thanksgiving Day game I've ever seen. The weight of that game, not just for the number one seed in the NFC North, but in the NFC, two of the best, maybe 4 teams in the NFL as a totality. That's going to be a massive game, and make no mistakes about it, man. Fox is going to promote that thing left, right, and center. Same with the NFL. After that, you got the Dallas Cowboys, the Stafford Golf Bowl, whatever it is, number 4. So you got that big one. Then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, Vikings, and Bears to round out the schedule. I think the Lions really could do some damage there. They want to be the number one seed. Adding some more talent would not be a bad move. Let me ask you, like I said, I'm just the lawyer presenting the information for you guys, the judge and jury. Do you think yesterday's move with Aiden Hutchinson getting signed is a prelude to something bigger happening for the Lions? I would say right now, all information suggests that answer is yes. Now, who's it going to be? Is it going to be like Pat McAfee said, and it's going to be for someone like a Myles Garrett? Or he's not saying he heard that anywhere. He thinks the Lions should or could make the move for it. I don't know, man. I mean, it would be great to get him in there, but do I think they're really going to make the move for him? I guess it depends on what Cleveland wants from him. You can easily absorb his contract for the next 3 years or somebody similar to that. Are you going to give up enough compensation to the Browns to make that happen? I doubt that. Some of the other guys on this list probably make a lot more sense if I can get that list to pop up. Especially if you're talking about someone like Cam Jordan, Phillips, Granderson, you're basically getting 1-year rentals. Could you make a move for another cornerback? Absolutely, but I don't see any offensive linemen on there. Again, from people I've talked to in the last 2 weeks, it does sound like the Lions are more focused on offensive line. Some of that's changed after the Tampa Bay game. Before the Tampa Bay game, I think you had more validity about the Lions going for some secondary help, maybe defensive line help, but let's give credit where credit's due. the guys they brought in at both of those positions, all those positions, they panned out pretty well. Most of those guys are going to be depth pieces. Once Reed returns, Arnold returns, Davenport, don't get me going. Whenever he's back, he's back. Is he going to help the team? Probably. Is he going to stay healthy? Probably not. And it just is what it is. When it comes to Pascal, I think everybody out there just needs to just say, hey, do what you need to do to protect your life and your family, your future. Let that young man just rest and focus on his health, his future, not worry about football. So I'm not even going to address him other than I think he's doing the right thing, staying away and doing those things. Anybody else? I don't know, but the offensive line does seem to be the biggest thing in my opinion. For those maybe just joining us, the Lions have roughly $24 million left in cap space. What are they going to do with it? We're going to find out. All right, with all that done, sent out of the way, let's get into the normal portions of the show. Hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 15,500. We're 50-some subs away from it. I don't have the number in my head right now, but just it's 50-some. So if you can assist with that, that'd be great. Also, if you have a half second of time, free of charge, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more. Thumbs up or likes. Last but most certainly, never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call. Shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. Been a realtor for over 30 years. I'll try to help you out any way I can, save you time, hassle, money, the whole shebang. All right, let's move on to the next portion of the show. And as you guys probably know, that would be 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines now after kind of talking about the main topic of the day already. Lions coach issues warning about Brian Branch ahead of a return from suspension. The big lead story by Orlando Sylvia. And I think he's spot on with this. The Lions get it. We are built with guys with chips on the shoulders, axes to grind, beef with people, however you want to term it, word it. But Lions safeties coach Jim O'Neill issued a warning to the rest of the NFL and the Minnesota Vikings. Brian Branch is healthy. He's ready to play. He's ready to keep, just be an outstanding player. I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but more or less, he's ready to bring the noise to the other teams. Branch feels bad about what he did to his teammates, what he did to the team by kind of letting his feelings get the best of him. Hey, we've all been there in life. We've done it, especially when you're talking about a 23, 24-year-old guy. He wants to help take this Lions defense to a whole new level. He is very thankful that the new guys backed him up and the Lions defense got through the Monday night game. But now Brian Branch, he's ready to take this team to a new level. He wants to move on from the situation that happened with Kansas City, wants to put that behind him, doesn't want to be labeled a dirty player, but he does want to be labeled as a hard-hitting player. So, quote, a lot of motivation, Branch said via the team's official website. It's like another chip on my shoulder they just added. I do want to apologize for what I did. That's something I don't condone and will never happen again. But the suspension definitely added another chip to my shoulder, end quote from Brian Branch. And I think he's right. I think he's going to come out. If he had motivation before to play at a high level, I think you're going to see Brian Branch take it to an even another high level. So good for him. Hope we move forward from there. Aiden Hutchinson extension widens Detroit Lions Super Bowl window and ups pressure to Rainer Saban, the Detroit Free Press, with this one. We've been talking about it for a while on this show, and I'm sure wherever you guys consume content, whether it's print media, YouTube media, or whatever, everybody's saying the same thing. The Lions Super Bowl window is now. Well, I would agree with Rainer Saban with this. I think it's not just this year. I think it was last year. I think it's next year, and I think it's the year after that. Beyond that, who knows? There's just too many moving parts to go 3 years out and say what's going to happen. You see how things can change quickly in the NFL, but to this particular point, I think the Lions have answered a lot of questions when it comes to this team's current and future settings. The Lions have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I don't think there's anybody, whether you're a Lions fan or a Lions hater, I don't think anybody denies that. You are set at literally almost every position on this team. And if you got talent galore, younger talent, how much can they improve that talent from a coaching and schematic standpoint? We'll have to wait and see. But Saban does a great job. If you want to dive into this story, break it on down. You want the nuts and bolts of it all. I think he's talking about the Lions being one of the ideal franchises that others try to mimic and try to replicate. I think for the foreseeable future, he's right with that. The Lions, my prediction at the start of the year, and yes, take it with a grain of salt since I'm a Lions content creator. I'm a bit of a homer. I think the Lions are making the Super Bowl this year. I look at the rest of that schedule, and it's no disrespect to anybody else in the NFC. I just think the Lions have as good a chance as anybody. The Lions win on Thanksgiving. I do believe they win the NFC North, and they'll have the number 1 seed, at the very worst, the number 2 seed, which means almost all your games are at home. That doesn't guarantee a playoff victory. We all know that, but I do like our chances going through that. All right, a $1 billion spree hands Detroit Lions a contract quandary as Aiden Hutchinson leapfrogs Myles Garrett. The New York Post, Jack Savage with this one. No related to the wife, but not related to the wife, by the way. Savage goes through this one and basically points out that the Lions have, the story basically breaks down how the Lions have set up all their contracts. And people are starting to examine Brad Holmes' movements more and more. Because how did you get it all done while still having $24 million in cap space? Think about all the big deals, the $1 billion they've spent on all these homegrown players. And with Dave Montgomery maybe being the exception, because they did give him an extension, and he's not a homegrown Detroit Lion player. But we get it. Brad Holmes has become perhaps the mad genius, mad scientist that every other NFL front office is looking at. He has figured out a way to work the numbers around. And that's why when we talk about if the Lions did want to pick up a bigger contract, we've already kind of talked about on today's show, it is very possible for the team. How he's doing it, though, is leading to a deep dive study, and you're hearing NFL offices, lauder him, praise him, etc. I think we need to take a moment of time, read over studies like this or stories like this, and appreciate what we now have in Detroit. It's not just MCDC. It's not just Brad Holmes. It is a lot of people in the front office that are doing things most other NFL franchises simply hadn't thought about or found a way to do. Whether it's putting Ahmed Hassanin on, basically cutting him from the team with a handshake agreement. Hey, we'll pay your injury settlement, this, that, and the other thing. You can return to us so you don't have to use one of your few precious IR designation returns. It's so many of these little details that most of us don't think about it as a big deal, but they're all adding up to be a very big deal for the Detroit Lions. I think they're spot on with this story. I think the Lions, Brad Holmes, need a lot of flowers. We'll see if he gets them. All right, Detroit Lions, future draft picks, no third rounders, but still plenty of capital to trade. Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press. Burkett dives into it. We've already been talking about it in the show. The main topic of today's show was, did Brad Holmes set up some moves for the Detroit Lions to make some trades prior to Tuesday, 4 p.m.'s trade deadline? The simple answer from Dave Burkett is yes. He goes through in this story a number of different situations that we've done in the past and what we potentially, from what he's hearing, are doing for Tuesday. He doesn't give specifics about a particular player, this guy, that guy, or anything in between. Just simply comes out and says the Lions are trying to make some moves. He believes the Lions are going to add some defensive talent. You can have your opinion on it. I've already offered my opinion on it. He goes through some of the different rounds and compensation packages he believes it will take to secure said players. Dive into that story if you want, but I think he's spot on, and I know we've already addressed it multiple times today. The Lions are trying to do something. All right, Lions-Eagles trade rumors from ESPN could lead Philly versus Detroit deadline battle. The Sporting News, Mike Brannis. The only reason why I put this in here is let this sink in. This schedule, the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to be the number 1 seed. The Green Bay Packers are trying to be the number 1 seed. Yes, the Detroit Lions are trying to be, answer when you know it, the number 1 seed. You've got a bidding war happening, and everybody's basically fighting for the same players. It has become very much, I think, right now with the Detroit Lions and these other mentioned teams, almost like the Major League Baseball trade deadline. It's an arms race. Who can outbid each other to get a couple players to get an advantage over the other teams? And I think that's what you're seeing unfold here. That's what Mike Moranis is pointing out to you with this story. The Lions have become one of those teams that are now a part of those bidding wars. They have to make the choice. Do you want that guy on your sideline, or do you want it on Philly's sideline, Green Bay's sideline, etc.? You guys get the gist with it. The Lions, I don't think the draft capital is as concerning to them as long as it's not a first or second round pick as it would have been a few years ago. So, yes, we don't have third round picks, but you know what? We got a bunch of other picks there to throw at people. Could it be they do get into one of these bidding wars with Philly or someone else? I think it is happening right now. I don't think it will happen. I think it is happening. if I'm one of the teams selling parts going into this trade deadline, I do suspect that Philadelphia is going to try to acquire people. You look at the past with Howie Roseman. He does it all the time. Green Bay Packers, how much more draft capital do they give up? Here's what I'd point out to you guys. If you're willing to give up 2 first-round picks to acquire one player, you're all in. Are you really going to be worried about giving up a 5th-round pick, 6th-round pick, 29th-round pick to get some other players to fill in? Because I need to keep the Lions at bay. I need to shut down the Lions so we can win the North, win the number 1 seed. We got to get past Philadelphia or whoever else, Tampa Bay you want to list. I think all those teams, maybe Tampa Bay should be on this list too. Maybe all those teams are willing to give up a whole lot of stuff to try to win the battle for the number 1 seed or one of the more favorable playoff positions. It'd be interesting to see what you guys have to say about this, but I don't ever think Brad Holmes is giving up first-round picks. I could be totally wrong with that, but I think every other draft pick is on the board for the Detroit Lions at this point. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, we've covered the main top of the day. For those who don't know or joined us late, we covered it at the start of the show to try to be respectful for those jumping in and maybe don't normally jump in. Lions have basically $24 million in available cap space. That was the cap space. Here's some of the guys being rumored to Detroit. Come to your own conclusions on it. And you know what? I think Brad Holmes is putting out a masterclass for all of us to just sit back, appreciate, and say, man, it's a great time to be a Detroit Lions fan. All right, let's go to the top of the screen. Go through the Duke Crew comments section. And I'm still scrolling, so give me a second. I'm trying to get there. I'm working my way to the top, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Michael D., Greetings, Salutations, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation point, one pride, woo, back at you. Jameer, greetings, Salutations, Duke Crew family. Hey, always good morning to you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. What delicious cookies are in store? Question mark. Woo, hey, hopefully you enjoyed those cookies. Jameer, so who or what are we trading to get to Miles? Hey, were you trading to get to Miles? You know, Pat McAfee, you can check out yesterday's episode. He mentioned him coming to Detroit. I get it. You're probably going to have 29 different NFL teams try to acquire him. I'm not so sure if it's as expensive as it would have been a year ago worth like 2 first-round picks. Because of the salary, if you're asking the acquiring team to take on that salary, I don't think it's 2 first-round picks anymore. I think it'd be a first and some other stuff. Could be totally wrong with that. It could be 2 firsts if Cleveland was to absorb most of the contract. Then I'd see it being 2 first-round picks. I'm with Scar Blade. Morning all. Back to you, Stephanie. Good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Pat McAfee talked about the Lions making some big trades yesterday. He did. He gave a lot of praise to the Detroit Lions. Said a lot of good stuff about the front office, Aiden Hutchinson, the whole shebang bang. We'll see what shakes out ultimately. Shamir, we would have a nasty duo and team if we got him or anybody like him. Man, you're not wrong. I already think we're pretty good at the front 7. There's no doubt about it for me, especially from a rotational piece. Would adding Myles Garrett take you to another level? Probably, because you could drop 7 into coverage all the time. You would not need to send a 5th guy if you don't want to. But my thought is, man, oh man, I just don't know if we would do it. Myles Garrett's got to want to be out of Cleveland bad, though. But again, I'm just saying I think the Lions are making a move. I'm not saying it's Myles Garrett. Mega Beast, man, feels like I haven't seen you in a hot second. My papa said Goff and J-Mo got into a fight in practice. He said he's seen it on Facebook. Yeah, I don't think that's accurate at all. I don't think it's true, but do you know if it is? No, I do not believe that is true. I think that's just Facebook click stuff. Let's see, Dave, I do wonder if we signed Hutchinson yesterday in order to firm up the cap enough to make a move for some trade. Thoughts on that? You've heard my thoughts on that. I think the Lions are trying to make something happen. Tell Hun, the top NFL defense in, quote, havoc play were resulting for a pressure, TFL, forced fumble, INT, or backup pressure, or pass breakup. Detroit is 4th in the NFL. Hey, how about that? And we got some stats. Number 1, Buccaneers, Broncos 2, Seahawks. Let's see, Lions are 4th. Okay, I'll take that. Hey, good stats there. Thank you for that, Attila. Justin K, I seen that 71. I don't know if Brad makes a big splash but I can totally see him snag some lesser cost parts. Yes, that's ultimately where I think it's going to go. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe it's something bigger, but I do think it's going to be some lesser parts. Not getting Myles Garrett, then no Branch, Gibbs, Laporta, or Campbell. You never know, man. I mean, they've done such a great job fixing the numbers. And again, referencing Myles Garrett's contract, it's really not that bad the next 3 years. Most of it, sort of like Kirby Joseph's, is in the back end. I almost wonder if they gave him that contract just so he could say, hey, I'm the highest paid defensive player momentarily. Jocelyn, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Coach, got Brad looking, excuse me, like a super villain in that photo. I kind of like that photo. Maybe some of you don't, but man, I do think Brad Holmes might be one of the smartest guys in the NFL. And I personally really love that photo of him. Until then, you can lock up the 2.5 of them just for what you're paying Garrett. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Brent, good morning, Dan and Dooku. With the uncertainty of Decker, I would hope we add offensive tackle. Me too. Great minds think alike, they once said. I don't know if mine's great, but I do think we should add some more depth to the offensive line. Stephanie Wilder, I just want to win it all so bad. I hope we go out and get someone that pushes us over the top. We'll see what they do. I think we're already deep, in my opinion. But could you get one or two people that make you even more deadly in certain areas? That's the big question. Scar Blade, by the way, I did not get a 20 miles per hour throw last night, so sorry to let you down, man. Definitely not going to be Garrett. All that cash in those two in the thumbnail, I just don't see it. We'll see what happens. I don't know if that's really a realistic opportunity or possibility, but I will say this without a shadow of doubt. Brad is trying to do something. Tell on 100% Brent. Not winning a Super Bowl, no matter how great your defense is, if Goff is on his butt or on offense. I agree with that fully, and I would like to see him open up the offense more. Muggany, don't expect a blockbuster trade, not Brad Holmes style, but we'll get what we need. I agree with that fully. Well said, my friend. Well said. Hookadoo. Morning, Duke Crew, one pride. That's Myles Garrett in the thumbnail. Could it be true? Exclamation point. Oh, yeah. You've heard my opinions on it. We'll see what shakes out. Rob, what's up, Dan the man and the Duke crew, and the crew with the Duke, question mark, tell me something good, exclamation point, can I get a woo? You want a woo? I'll give you a woo. How about a 1, 2, and a 3? And will you go? I'm going to do Miles. Yes, correct. Let's see, Big Eddie, morning all. I think you are right, Brett DeWitt. We need to add to the offensive line. I agree with that. Yeah, I think many of us think that way. Robert, greetings, salutations. Remember peptides today and tomorrow. I take them every day. The wife won't let me not take them. And to be fair, they've done great things for me, so I can't complain. Jim, it is time to let Brad do his thing. He will get it right. I trust in Brad 1,000%. In Brad, I trust. Dr. Troy, Garrett to Detroit, Super Bowl time. If it happened, man, you know what? Maybe one of them can help out. Maybe be a sixth offensive lineman from time to time. I would have no complaints with it. Until then, I would be happy with Phillies and Rockwell Phillips, excuse me, and Woolen actually thrilled. Yeah, I'd be real happy with both of them. If you could get both of them, since I don't think it would cost a ton to get them, to your point, until I think you still go out and try to get another offensive lineman. The problem is getting a left tackle worth a dang is tough to do, but it could happen. You got to look at a bunch of teams trying to make that same move, and it will be a bidding war. Brent Ditto Attila with a thumbs up. Until then, the most important thing to realize is they don't need Myles Garrett to win the Super Bowl. No, I would agree with that. Wouldn't hurt, though, would it? Let's say, Jess, I see a lot more talk in the last 24 hours that the Lions are trying to make some trades. I have not seen anything with Myles Garrett coming here. The only reason why I put it out there is because of the contract numbers, and it wasn't specifically for Myles Garrett. But you look at Myles Garrett, and I'm going to guess if you break down a lot of other contracts, they might not be as bad. I do like what the Browns did with his contract. His contract is very friendly the next 3 years. After that, yeah, then it gets a little egregious. But let's be honest, he'd be 34 at that point. Is he really going to live, playing career, live out that contract? I don't know. Dr. Troy is laughing. Kim agreed. Brett, Jennifer, such an exciting time to be a Lions fan. Good morning, all, with an exclamation point, and you're not wrong with that. Hookadoo, morning, Brett, Moonscar. I don't see how, but if we got Garrett, watch out, exclamation point. Hutch would be his opposite. You know what I would do? I put a Lee McNeil, Hutch, and Garrett all on the same side of the line. Say, hey, have fun blocking that side of the line. Guess which side they'd be running to? Let's see. So Smoke, good morning. Hope and pray we add some talent where we can. Yes, I like that thinking indeed. Brett, great morning, Hookadoo. Rob, I still don't think it's going to be a flashy move. Me too. I just don't see Brad. It's not a Brad Holmes thing. It's been 4 years now. Not how he rolls. No, I agree with that. 1,000%. I think you're spot on with that as always, Rob. Just said, good morning. Exclamation point. Back at you. Server. Good morning, coach and everyone. Hey, it's always good to have you here, Server. Brett, agreed. Rob Hawk with a thumbs up. Look at this. Server caught a wave on in. Exclamation point. Grip morning, brother. There you go. Steve Rogers. So what are the chances Cleveland would want to trade Garrett or Myles Garrett? I don't know, man. One of the guys I talked to, the Cleveland press dealer yesterday, Plains dealer, excuse me, He said he doesn't think they're actively going out of their way to trade him, but they do listen to calls. He says they get calls all the time on him. If I'm Myles Garrett, I got the contract, but you could see him on the sideline. I think, they did a good job covering it after the game. He just put up a legendary performance, and he's on the bench sitting all by himself, moping, staring at the scoreboard of the Jumbotron, whatever you want to term it as. And you can see he gets it, man. He can put up 29 sacks a game, and they're not winning games. The fact that they got destroyed in that game, even with his performance, I feel bad for him just because he is so good. He has been, in my opinion, the best defensive end since he came into the league, and he can't even change their fortunes. Desmond Edge, what do you got? 82 cookies only for me, not sharing. Hey, you got to enjoy those cookies. Well, we can't afford Miles, Steve. It could be, but again, when you look at his contract, it's really not that bad. Tori, we got Hutch's deal done yesterday for a reason. That I agree with. I agree with it too, and I like the way you're thinking. Coach Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. Hoping that Brad gets a game changer and would happily take the man in the picture. Yeah, and again, just to reference it, I don't think it's going to be Myles Garrett, but I do think the Lions are making a move. Could Davenport be traded? Somebody would have to want to trade for him. That's the problem. Desmond, you can't trade someone on IR. There you go. Coach Rock, great morning, Hookadoo. Dell, good morning, everyone. In Brad, we trust. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Man Bear, good morning. Oh, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure indeed. Hookadoo, Mr. Grit himself, top of the morning, Coach Rock. Brett, trade Davenport for what? A bag of chips? Hey, make them real good, spicy chips if you're going to do it. Demon Eagle, Edge, what do you got? 82 and a Pepsi. Hey, make that a Mountain Dew and it's a done deal. Pat Rock, so what is Brad trying to do? Trying to acquire talent without a question, it would appear. So, Hookadoo, good morning, sir. Nice to see you keeping it light and real on this meeting place. There you go. Don't know. I don't know either, my friend. Pepsi is pushing it, probably. Brent, James, greetings, salutations, Dan and Duke Crew, back at you. Always good to see you on the morning show. Hookadoo, what about what you'd get for him, Brent? A bag of chips. Could be. I know I do love Pepsi. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Have a good Pepsi and enjoy it. Rock, just saying our time is now, so make a move that puts us over the top now. We can trade for first-round picks to do it. We're loaded and don't need all the picks anyways. It could be some of that for sure. The other part is, it's sort of like a couple years ago when Brad came out and admitted it when we were trying to get Sweat from the Redskins or the Commanders, whatever you want to call them, that we got outbid by Chicago because our third-round pick was basically a fourth-round pick, and Chicago went up to a second-round pick, was almost like a late first-round pick. So I get it. There is going to be a bidding war for a lot of players. James, I don't think Brad is doing anything significant here this year. Just comes to trades. Yes, he'll probably make some trades, and I think we agree with that, James. It's not going to be first-round pick worthy or something like that. Robert, with all the large contracts signed, who is next in line, and will there be enough money to sign them, in your opinion? Yes, we'll get it done. I think they do a real good job of staggering the contracts, sort of like, using Goff's contract as an example, Kirby Joseph's example. Most of their contracts, or at least big portions, come down to 1 year. So because of that, you can Scooby-Doo somebody else's contract around that particular year, in my opinion. Manberg, I like Pepsi if you put a splash of rum in it. Hey, there you go. Rob, good morning. Duke Crew, Super Bowl or bust! Exclamation point. Go Lions. I like it indeed, Rob. James is content, and then the team is vastly improved in spite of what the metrics say. Yes, yeah, I think he is content. I think the team has improved exponentially. Coach Rock, the league would probably shoot down a Miles trade that would be an over the top for Detroit. We'll see what shakes. Silver, sure, Garrett, opposite Hutch in man football, perhaps. Hey, it's a good place to start. How about Techno Bowl? Johnny L, good morning, folks. Hookadoo. James Allen, let's see, of the Grit Crew, good morning. Back at you, Amy. Good morning. Our ultra fabulous Dan and wonderful Duke Crew, exclamation points. Can't wait until Sunday. Everyone have a fabulous day. Back at you, as always, Amy. Hopefully you're having a great day. Coach Tony K, hey, Duke Crew and Coach, exclamation point, back at you. How you doing today? James, good morning, my friend Hookadoo. James, good morning, Duke Crew. Same old soup, just reheated. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Yeah, I know you're always running around doing stuff. Lauren, good morning to all my Duke Crew friends and family. Woo! Hey, who doesn't like to woo in the morning? Moon Scar Blade, interesting ad. I just got an else trust a car lift from Temu. I'll pass, thanks. Hey, that I don't know anything about. Servicer, Robert, Yankee, BB, Campbell, or Laporta next. Yeah, probably those guys will be in it for sure. Lauren, Bleacher Report says they could make a move for Trey Henderson. We'll see. Jack, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point, back at you. The program Dynasty loading. I think we are loading. Incoming information. Lauren, good morning, Duke Crew. Typically, Brad Holmes moves signed Hutch to a team-friendly deal. The more you look at the contract, and not that Hutch couldn't have gotten more, he probably got a pretty good deal. I'm sure the guaranteed money helped out a lot, but to a certain degree, I agree with you, Leonard. It was kind of a team-friendly deal. Rocky, Packers go get Parsons. We go and get a second, third stringer. That doesn't compute, so make a big move for once in Detroit's time. We'll see if they do. They once upon a time traded for Pat Swilling. That was a big move, although that was some time ago. Ron, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Courtney, good morning, Coach and the fabulous Duke Crew. Woo! With an exclamation point. Same old soup. Am I the only one that likes watching fans of the teams we beat react and their teams lost against Lions? Hey, I'm sure a lot of Lions fans like that and can make for some funny videos, etc. James, I can't believe I'm sitting on my laptop this morning. I couldn't find my glasses to do Lions Talk Live on my phone. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Hey, just enjoy it wherever you're watching it. Surfer, Coach Tanya K. Morning, Tanya, excuse me. Let's see, string theory. Have your mother tell Decker, rub some dirt on it. A sore shoulder is no excuse to not play 100%. I mean, my mom drove home with a shattered shoulder, blood dripping off her forehead and everything. She was like, I'll be all right. But when she got home, we found out about it. We all made her go to the hospital. But that's who she is, man. Her hands were all torn up, skin hanging off all over the place. She's like, I'm good. I was like, nah, you're not good, Ma. You're not good. Dre Day, Lions got a $50 million discount from Hutch. Brad Holmes is a genius to get him to sign that contract. Hey, I hope it worked out well for both teams. Until then, the Myles Garrett speculation is just that fancy trade scenario. We aren't giving up Gibbs or Branch. No, I don't think there's any way we'd give up either one of those or both of them. Riley, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Back at you. I know it's ultra early where you do. Ron, hot take, Coach Dan. Exclamation point. Woo! Sometimes I got to do that, right, Rob? You got to unleash the fury. Hey, Attila, great to see you, always. Phil's got a new thumbnail photo, and you have to let me know what that means, Philly, but hello, and back at you. Attila, hey, Riley, missed you. Speaking real quick, has anybody seen Broski in a while? I don't feel like we've seen him in a week or two. Final countdown with Hutch contract and Myles contract for the next 2 years. If Detroit want, they can. Yes, I would agree with you with that, 100%. If you wanted to get Myles Garrett, at least looking at his contract, it's not that bad. Moonscar, morning, Phil. Exclamation point. Taylor made media. Lions are valued at just over $6 billion. They can extend, folks. Yes, they can. They've got some money to throw around. Mary Smith. Good morning, Dooku. What a blessing to see another day. And great news. We got the man, the beast, the number one sacker, Aiden Hutchinson, for 4 more years. Just made my day. Yeah, you have to really be happy the fact they got it done now. Mary, why'd they get it done yesterday? Are they setting something up for Tuesday? Lawman, you got good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Hutch is secured for 4 years. Go Lions. Now we need a left tackle or Jalen Phillips. We'll see if we can take both. Ziggy and friends, good morning, Captain Dan and Duke Crew All-Stars. Hey, how you doing today? Hopefully it's a great start to your day. Coach Rock, anything can happen out there, but heck, the news also has Dallas chasing big names, and they don't have any top picks in the next 2 years to trade, but they are trying to get better, but hope they don't. I get it. Yeah, the Cowboys, I guess they could trade the Green Bay first-round picks. I mean, I don't know their draft capital situation. JC, greetings, salutations, Coach and Crew, exclamation point, back at you, server. Leonard, they built a place where players want to play and stay. Yeah, you're 100% a spot right with that. Every player across the NFL, I think, no longer looks at Detroit the way they did, 5, 6, 7 years ago. They now look at it as a destination, a desirable place to be. With that said, team-friendly deals still give Hutch the most guaranteed money in history for a defensive end. You're not wrong with that. I think that's why they're able to keep the numbers overall down for Hutch. We're saying, hey, we'll guarantee more, but you'll agree to take a little less. James, good morning, Queen Mary, 100%. William, I see a lot of reports on why sign Hutchinson now. Brad must be up to something. Yes, agreed with you 1,000% there, William. Drew, good morning, Coach. Exclamation point. You're doing a great job in bringing the heat every morning and day. Keep rolling. Go Lions. Hey, thank you very much for that. And thank you for being a part of the Duke Crew. Without the Duke Crew, I couldn't do what I do. And I wouldn't do anything for anybody. Courtney, Don't I remember Hutch and Amaran talking about Miles at the Pro Bowl function? You are correct with that. And all smiles, you are spot on with that. 1,000%. Mary, good morning. James, how you feeling this morning? We'll find out. Don Burr, I don't see a move being made. I think will be of something, Donnie, but I don't think it's going to be a big one. I think it'll be probably a smaller move. Let's see. Coach Rock, good morning. Queen Mary was thinking the same about Hutch. There you go. Server. Mary Smith, good morning. Blue Lions. I concur. Dre Day. Server. Still a cheaper deal than what he could have received. I agree with that. If he would have hit the free market, he would have got a bigger bag. Okay, good morning, my Queen Mary. Lion Dog, with Tesla in the wings, could J-Mo and his $82 million contract be traded for a top-notch defensive end? It's possible, but I think the team likes J-Mo. I think J-Mo likes Detroit. I get we want him to be more involved, but I think some of that is just, schematic stuff with the offense. You're using him specifically to open up other guys. Maybe some of the situation at the offensive line is kind of denying him some more shots. We'll have to wait and see how John Morton and the offense kind of evolve over the season to maybe get him more involved. Lauren, I wouldn't mind seeing an offensive lineman or D lineman. I concur. Hassi Manley, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke crew, and all my friends on Lions Talk Live with a thumbs up. What a show. What broadcast. What team. Go Lions. Wow. Hey, that's a mouthful right there. And hey, good afternoon to you in Cairo. Mary Smith, good morning. Grok Silver, Hookadoo, how are my brothers feeling this morning? We'll find out. James, I'm doing all right, Mary. Moonscar, my guess is with the Hutchinson extension done now, you can turn this year's salary and next year's fifth-year option into part of the signing bonus. Now spread over the years for the next 5 years. Correct with that. I think you're spot on with that. We'll have you working in an NFL front office in no time, Moonscar. Dre Day, a veteran left tackle should be a prioritized for now to keep Decker healthy for future games. I like the way you're thinking. Don Burt, J-Mo isn't going anywhere. I concur. Big D, good morning, guys. How's the Duke crew today? We'll find out. Good to see you, my friend, Steven. Good morning, Coach. Dan and the Duke crew have a fantastic day. Exclamation point. Go Lions. And back at you, my friend. Zig and friends. I'm glad they finally signed Hutch to the extension of his contract. Go Lions, one pride. Yes, indeed. Get it out of the way. Carrie, morning, everyone. Back at you. Mary, morning, Carrie. Server. Again, Hutchinson with Detroit for the next 6 seasons, including this one. The deal is one of the top of the 5-year option they had already picked up. Yeah, they picked up the 5th-year option. Excuse me. Big D, J-Mo is the lifetime line. I think so too, man. They'll get him more involved. Mr. Hassan, and a great afternoon to you, sir. I concur. Moonscar Blade, good insert time of day here, Modley. The Egon, we got J-Mo is a cornerstone. I agree. I like the kid a ton. Red Screech, who's looking forward to yet another Vikings beat down this Sunday? I didn't realize we'd beaten them 5 times in a row. That might be the first time in my lifetime I can remember saying that. And, obviously Sunday will make it 6 times in a row. Coach Rog, feeling okay, Mary, but went and got myself in the doghouse. Oh, hopefully you get yourself out of that grinder. Center position needs backup. Nothing wrong with that. Brenda Witt, good morning, Mr. Hassan. How is Ahmed doing? Hopefully very good. Big D, Moonscar, that's funny, laughing out loud. Big D, insert time of day, laughing. Mary, not good, Rock. Red Screech, who's looking forward to yet another Vikings beatdown on Sunday? I think all of us are. Jema, we still have Gibbs, Branch, Laporta, and Jack Campbell to sign. Exclamation point, you are right. Keegan, good morning, Coach. Back at you. How you doing? Phil, sounds like you have trolls trying to give you a hard time. Man, it's just part of it, man. I mean, you guys get it, man. You watch enough of the content. I've got to imagine everybody gets it. Do they realize you are doing this early in the morning for free? Question mark. You do your best to give us some real news. I do what I can, but you guys know it, man. Somebody's always going to throw a stone at your Mountain Dew. Moonscar Blade, that's why I try to bring a little levity to the show. Hey, you do a good job with that. Dre Day, J-Mo is a solid Robin, getting paid Batman money, but he's doing his part just fine. Oh, hey, that's well said. I like that. I do love Batman. Hookadoo, did you get yourself grounded, Coach Rock? Sounds like it, doesn't it? Ziggy and friends, there is a method to his madness. I'm glad Brad signed the extension. I agree with that. Red Screech, Detroit is not trading J-Mo. No, I would think not. Mary, Meet Red, okay. Server, Hassan Madley, good morning, Madley. Exclamation point, please tell Ahmed I look forward to seeing him back here. Yes, I think we all are chomping on the bit for that. James, J-Mo isn't going anywhere. Concur. Woodskar, our schedule doesn't look as impressive as it did at the beginning of the season. Could be some truth to that. Scott, I wonder if Holmes does make a big splash like a Garrett trade. How much of this is because he's getting pressure from Sheila since year 5 MCDC Dollar General Holmes? We'll find out. I don't know if they're going to make that level of move. I do think they're going to make a move. Big D, Coach Dan is one of the realest tubers there is. Hey, thanks for that. I try to be. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but I try. 95% of the time his info and opinion are spot on. The other 5%, well, stuff happens. Coach Dan, skip the trolls. Got a good team behind you. Hey, thank you for that. You're not going to make everybody happy in life, and you're trying. That's all you can do is try. Coach Rock, with all those signings we have coming up, we need to get to the Super Bowl now. Woo! Hey, can we get to it now, next year, in the next 5 years? I would consider that a win if we can win the next 5 Super Bowls. Moonscar, we need some turkey time revenge against the Fudgies for the last time we met them on Turkey Day. Man, I didn't even consider that part. That's great inside information there, Moonscar. Week 9 can't get here soon enough, Mr. Hassani. No, I agree with that, but it's almost here. Ziggy and Friends, Thanksgiving Day game will be a big win for the Lions. Green Bay in trouble. They haven't played anybody. I'll go with that, and I agree with that. Well, we aren't trading this guy for that guy. Brand will trade anyone that he believes will make this team better for it. Super Bowl or bust, but we aren't trading anyone. We'll find out. Red Screech. Dan is the best Lions YouTuber out there. Much better than Woodward Sports. Woodward Sports, I used to watch them quite a bit, but it's probably been a year, maybe 2 years since I have. It just, some of it's just schedule-wise. I still talk to Easy and Spencer from time to time, but outside of that, I don't know if I really know anybody over there anymore. So hopefully they're doing well, man. Wish them well. Mary Smith, we got that win for Coach Dan's birthday. Hey, I'd like the way you're thinking. That would be a great win for my birthday. Silver Server, James Allen, somebody talking about JMO going anywhere, question mark, don't let me get off the galactic board. Okay, off this galactic board. Egon, Brad definitely looking like he's getting his ducks in a row. He's setting up something, isn't he? Phil, Coach has more smarts in his left ear than anyone in Michigan. I don't know about that, man. After all, he married Jen Sandwich. I did, but I think that's because she told me I couldn't say no. She made me an offer I could not refuse. How about that? Mary Smith, by the way, Coach, that's my granddaughter's birthday. Hey, sounds like a great day to be. One of the best coaches, one of the best human beings I ever met in life. A guy I worked with named Terry Gillette. He was, older than me, had the same birthday. And let me tell you, he's probably the one human being I've met in all my lifetime, all my travels, that I could say I've never met anybody say anything negatively about him. Great human being indeed. Sorely missed. Brent, can't wait to see Med Hassanin back in the rotation, exclamation point. Oh, yeah, I'll go with that. Dennis, good morning, Go Lions. Hey, good morning to you, too. Hey, Fish, trade for the right player for what we need. I like the way you're thinking. Tom Peters, I've been watching the Lions since 1964. We need breakthrough and get us to the Super Bowl. Go Lions. Woo! I think you got a whole lot of people chopping the bit to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. Ron, the Hutch move caught me off guard because it is during the year. I agree with that. I think there will be some sort of move. Go, Coach Dan! Exclamation point. Woo! Hey, great to be a part of the Duke crew, Ron. And yes, let's see what shakes out. Thomas, do not want a 10-game rental. Why? The 10 games? Nah, we have studs coming back. All right, I'll go with that. Good to see you, Thomas. See you, friends. There's the method Brand Holmes Madness, and he will sign anybody through. Will help the Lions fund for the year. I'll go with that. Yes, I think he will sign somebody for the year. Silver Surf, Mary Smith, I thought I was the one remembering birthdays. Hey, you got to remember birthdays from time to time. Eddie's Fish, I would save that $24 million in cap space. They may just do that. Phil, Coach has international experience, 30-plus years as a top coach, author, real estate. Yeah, really good dude. Thinks him don't jump on his back. Hey, people jump on his back, but you guys get it, man. We're all old enough. We get it. Not everybody's going to like everybody. Just don't mess with my hairdo, and that's all I ask. James, Brad isn't crazy. He isn't going to make any moves because Detroit is going to reload with all their hurt players during either the practice squad or the 50-man roster. To your point, James, they do such a great job, this franchise, with, just identifying talent, locating the talent, and not just, in the draft, but in, the missed people on other people's practice squads. It's probably worthy of a deep dive study at the NFL level, or maybe just a pro sports level. Most teams, you guys know, you watch professional sports, any continent, they just don't do a good job with that. The Lions do it in droves. Leonard, the offensive line is not giving enough time, so Goff can't hit J-Mo in stride. I would agree with that. But without a dominant pass rush on a Mahomes, Allen, we're going to need to put up points. I concur. Ken, any idea what the offensive line or specifically OT that might be available and worth going after? I don't, man. I've tried to think about some, but just I would have to sit down and watch them all. It's my opinion. Offensive line, you have to sit and watch the tape. You've got to get an idea for it. It's not like you can just look at stats because really there aren't any stats. Ron, I think a defensive back, especially when we face the Eagles, could be. JC, seasons, exclamation point. Mary, great minds are always on top. Silver, I'll take that. Tone Capone, what do you got? Got to get another edge rusher. Hutch needs help. We'll see if they do that. All right, guys, we got like 5 minutes left, so I'm going to power through, try to find people who haven't been on as much. Iceman, watched Lions Collective last night, and Justin Rogers stated that Pasco's injury was not cancer-related, as people are thinking. Hey, well, I'm glad to hear that, then, if that's the case. Brent, Branch, pick 6 incoming Sunday. I like the way you're thinking. Detroit D, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. How you doing today? Big D, Tone, Capone, where you been? Our D line is deep. I don't understand all the edge talk. Okay. Phil, Brian Branch is one of the top players in the NFL. I agree with that fully, Philly. And he was not very much disrespected by the Chiefs. 1 game suspension might not be worth tell. The NFL is not skip with him. Yes, do not mess with him, indeed. Ken, if Decker can't get and stay healthy, offensive tackle is or will be the team's biggest need. I agree with that. This team goes as far as the offensive line can take it. Have to have a run game and, more importantly, keep Goff comfortable. There has been some speculation to a certain degree that the Lions, because he can't get a good left tackle, might have to go get a right tackle and then move Penei Sewell over. I wouldn't be upset if that happens. Man, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. I'm recently retired, so now I have a chance to enjoy the show live. A great way to start my day! Exclamation point. Whoa, hey, congrats on being retired. Thanks for being a part of the Duke Crew. Mo, Super Bowl will be the Lions for the Chiefs. Wouldn't that be something? Let's see, Phil. Coach gets coaching offers from a lot of colleges. God bless him for staying put with his young women's team every year, a top team. Hey, I just I miss coaching professionally. I do, but sometimes you have to make life choices, right? We all do. And Jen does not want to go live overseas. She's made that abundantly clear. Plus, she's getting close to retirement, too. Eddie's Fish, I have nothing wrong with Brian Branch. Did he sending a message to the league that he will not be done dirty by the NFL? No, I agree with you fully. He's letting people know this is a no-fly zone. Treat, like the golden rule in life, right? Treat everybody with respect. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Great day. Some people just can't stop the edge talk, but I miss the explosive offense. And unfortunately, the O-line neither needed to be better or needs more health depth at left tackle. Yeah, I think you're right on all of the above. Let's see, Egon. They called Rodney Harrison dirty too. He hit hard as a truck, and he has chips and a great legacy. It was a nightmare to play against. Brian Branch on the right path. Yeah, I agree with that. And hopefully, a lot of people have stood up and said, across the league, Juju maybe deserved it. Big D, OT is the biggest need we have. I'll go with that. James, what is the NFL Players Association feel about poor officiating? That I don't know. Southwest, get healthy, stay healthy, win it all. I'd say that's some wise wisdom right there. Ken Ross, agreed, Big D. More people haven't been on here much. Dola Dynamite, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, lay the wood to those soft people. I concur. Thomas, we're going 13-4 or 12-5. Home field in playoffs to us doesn't mean much, really. Exclamation point. Last year, all 3 losses were at home. This is correct. Correct with that. Coach Rock, if we were to lose our defense coordinator to a college team, there goes a 3rd-round comp pick. Yeah, that could be. Let's see. Daniel Inch, what do you got? So glad they signed Hutch, even if it were not for this year, but for the future. Yes, Brand Holmes will look for a cheap lineman or D backup. Hopefully also get a DN. We'll see if they do. Brent, Phil, agreed. Thumbs up. More people haven't been on as much. Brian C. Brad shops at Costco. Enough said. Hey, I shop at Costco. Josh, trade Aaron Key to Detroit next week. We'll find out if they do. Dolo, Philly already grabbed, Michael, from the Jets. Yes, they've already made some moves. I think they're going to make some other moves. Exit 8. Most smart with money, shop for deals. Poor people blow their money on shiny objects. Could be a correlation there. Brian C. Brian Branch is a good person. I am the dirty Brian. Okay, well, good to know. Now we know. No one's half the battle. Burns, with the core of this team, it's not a 1-year window. It's 6 to 7 year window. Yeah, you could be spot on with that. John, Cam Jordan is washed. Might be accurate. Brent, not watching Bad Bunny for sure. Okay. Silent Service, how many times are we going down this rabbit hole? We're not getting mouse. No, I don't think we are either. We'll find out, though. Michael, Matrix was a fictional movie, not reality. that everyone seems to be living in. Sometimes you got to choose your own devices, right? Mo, Brad photo looked like he's saying, I told y'all what I'm doing. Yeah, could be. I did like that photo of him. I love that photo personally. James, I have to trust Brad Holmes. He's been more right than wrong. Yeah, 100% there. Like most things in life, got to go with what works the best for you. Johnny Gaz, good morning. Dan and Duke crew, exclamation point, back at you. Now, Detroit, incoming Miles Garrett and Crosby. Wouldn't that be something, huh? Where would you play them all? Verno, good morning, Coach Dan, Duke crew. Coach, the villain is all in. Coach can say you believe the villain is finally able to up something that we can see. We'll see what it shakes out with all of it for sure, but I do like what Brad is doing. Yes, Denbro is traded to William Bauma. Okay. Dre Day. Thomas Donner statistically shows most NFL players over 30 drop in production. There are a few exceptions, but exceptions does not change the rule. No, I think that's well said there. Eddie's Fish, I saw a report the NFL is under investigation for something that they did. You know, I hate to say it with the gambling stuff that went down with the NBA. Now a few NFL players or former NFL players are being indicted with that as well, including, oh gosh, what's his name? The Hall of Fame tight end. Played for San Diego. Anyways, worry about that another time. Josh and Keys to Detroit next week. We'll see what happens. Garrett incoming. Thomas, you said he would dump Gibbs the moment he hits 31. I think not. We'll find out. Mary Smith. Next up contract is Gibbs, Laporta, and I think Campbell. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Silent service. Cody Muhammad is better than Hendrickson right now. Look at PFF. Rum and Coke. Okay. Josh, Ernie Key incoming. Moonscar Blade, Coconut Rum, and Dr. Pepper. I'll try that. Miles, I was being Mary. Also, Brian Branch contract incoming. Rob Hawk, got to go. Be all good. Exclamation points. Back at you. Coach, you have to say Lord Vormont next 3 times. Then he shows up. You might have to say it while looking in the mirror. Well, I'll try that out. Dr. Troy, laughing out loud. Broski is in hibernation like his team. That could be accurate. Thomas, I boink the like, y'all. Yes, we can. Hit the like and subscribe. Bo, Lord Vormer is running out of Horcrux. He is hiding. Could be. Brent, Bo, laughing. Dr. Troy, if you notice, the first 2 years are nothing in Hutch's contract. We have room. Yes, agreed. Dre Day, as good. Thomas, so Dre Day, according to you, calculations are that 0-year window at the best because Goff is now 30. We'll find out. Moonscar 8 Don Burr, I was wondering if you were watching. Carrie, what a dream. Hutch, McNeil, Garrett, Reeder. That would be something, wouldn't it? Dre Day, quarterback and kicker are the only positions, as I said earlier, Thomas. Don B, Cold Water. Silver Server, love my Jahmyr Gibbs and has been talking about, is he the best? Question mark. Is Bajan, is Saquon, but just for the record, the best halfback in NFL history is Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. Yeah, for the NFL today, excuse me. I agree with that. Yeah, he is playing pretty well. Jason, signing the Grit crew to contracts. Levi staying near a bus. I'll go with some contracts of 100% there for the Duke crew. Mr. Detroit City, let's go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Trim River, good news about Hutch. Bad news, Davenport got his hair cut too hard. Maybe he did. Hey, sometimes it happens. Brett, Trim, don't know about haircuts where it has hurt us. So yeah, it could be for someone. Cynthia, good morning. Exclamation point. Everyone have a great day, rain or shine. Indeed, indeed. Motor City Mannix, go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Ziggy and friends, what does Dan say about the Vikings game this week? We'll probably have to wait another day or two to find out. All right, a few others who haven't been on here. 313, John, clickbait, why even talk about Myles Garrett? If you watch the show, John, you know that we didn't really talk about Myles Garrett as an option. But that's also why he's in the thumbnail, because I know some people don't really watch the show. They just jump in and come in with their feelings instead of paying attention to the actual content. So have a good one, John. Huggadoo, you say Broski, and look who's here. Broski. All right, fair enough. Dan, Lions will be Super Bowl talk every year as long as Dan and Brad are there. That could be very accurate. Let's see. Bo, Lord Maynard. All right. Great Lake State guy. If you want to know what Brad Holmes is trading for, just find the most injured players at their position. That could be a telltale sign. Trim Reaper, have a great day, Coach and Duke crew. Exclamation point. Woo! Back at you. Bo, happy trail, Duke crew. All done and dusted for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. Snoopy Line, I hope we put a red jersey on JJ this Sunday. Let's hope so. Lions, happy trails, everyone. Got to go. Go Lions. Woo! Have a good one. Let's see. Great Lake State guy. Hopefully we're nice and healthy within the next 2 weeks. I think we're getting healthier for sure. Hoogadoo, happy trail, Duke crew, one pride, world one. Have a crappy day, broski. All right, Snoopy Line. What did BB do? He just said, hey, he's going to play hard. How about that? Silver Server, Snoopy Line, nothing. Silver Server, Hoogadoo, Kurt. Have people not been paying attention? Hutch has ample help at Alquin Muhammad, Tyler Lacey. We're getting Davenport back. We could use a defense end, but don't need one. Okay, Michael D. Heavy Trail coach and Duke Crew. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. Kurt, thumbs up, says Brent. Kurt, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! Exclamation point. Motor City Poly. If we traded for a defense end, they'd have to be much better than Alquin Muhammad. So who is that? We'll find out. Kurt, thanks, Brent. Motor City Poly. Miles' dead cap is $60 million. Yeah, now can you get them to pay it? The Cleveland Browns. Ron Antonio Gates, thank you for that. Kerry, what happened to Davenport's back? I don't know, man. Kurt, if we got a defense end, Jermaine Johnson makes the most sense. Exclamation point. We'll go with that. Kurt, Aiden's haircut looks more like mine. All right. Trim Reaper's laughing. Kerry, happy trails. Duke Crew, have a great day. Everyone stay safe. Go Lions. Woo! I'll take that. Trim, hit all the buttons. I'll take that. Thank you for that, by the way, Trim. Stay winning. Hey, Coach, I seriously appreciate your changing the format up for the show from time to time, especially when it's information as provided like as this. Exclamation point. Stay winning, Duke Crew. Woo! I do what I can to try to switch it up from time to time. All right, guys, I'll go on and get out of here. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before departing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Have a great day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you guys all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.